Next up, Russ and I are going to give our picks of the week.
I heard it's going to get steamy. You might as well go ahead and click that subscribe button now.
Let's close out today with our recommendations of the week. And it seems like this week's recommendations are brought to you by sex.
What?
Russ, would you like to talk about sex? Would you like to go
I'm
first?
going first again.
Would you like to, or would you like me to go first?
No, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. So the theme for our recommendations this week, we decided on something I believe we all enjoy, sex.
Yeah.
I'm going with a film called The Little Death. I have yet to reference this to anyone. No one's heard of it.
I hadn't. You showed it to me, and I really enjoyed it, but
Nobody
never
has heard of this movie. And everyone I've showed it to laughs their ass off.
I want you to rape me.
Basic premise, it involves maybe kinks, let's say. You have one couple in this film, unmarried. They start confiding in themselves what turns them on. What's their deepest, darkest desire? And the female character admits that she has a fantasy since she was younger about being raped.
What?
And so her boyfriend takes it upon himself to make his girl happy and figure out a way to fulfill her fantasy.
But Russ, rape isn't funny.
It manages.
How do they make it funny?
I'm going to get there. Okay, I'm going to get there for you, man.
Also, I'm required by federal law to inform you that I am a convicted sex offender.
Another vignette in this fantastic film involves a married couple who are having problems conceiving. It's suggested that when the female has an orgasm during sex, that is good for conception. Her partner's father passes away and he starts crying, and she realizes she has a fetish. There's an actual word for it, but she has a fetish for watching a man cry.
What?
So what she starts doing is trying to upset him to the point of tears all the time. His father just passed away. So he'll go to work. She'll like start hanging up pictures of his dad around the house just to get him to cry and then have sex with him.
I'm afraid it's bad news.
Well, I have been a very bad girl. Perhaps you need
You
to...
have hepatitis.
Oh God, the greatest
likes
one.
to dress up.
Thank you. Yes, the funniest one. This story, to spice up this married couple's sex life, they decide to get into role playing. The man gets so into it, it becomes a craft. He starts going to acting classes. He starts buying video equipment and setting up sets and all this. Yeah. And it's great.
Yeah. Thanks.
There's another one too that involves sign language in between two deaf people. But anyway, to get back to your point, yes, all of this is very dark humor. Very dark humor. This movie is sweet.
I'm a convicted sex offender.
You got that impression too,
Yeah,
didn't you?
even
You feel good at the end of this movie.
You can't describe two people that have a rape fetish and not feel like that seems weird. But then when you watch
how
it,
it's resolved?
it unfolds like not what you'd expect. I guess I don't know how to say it without spoiling anything.
Without
it does.
and
It's
without
sweet.
spoiling
You're right.
and without spoiling that particular storyline, how it ends is very sweet. For me, that's a very tough act to balance. And yet you manage not only to make it funny, but endearing.
Yes.
And sweet.
Some weird way.
Yes. Like, I can't stress to you enough. This movie, I've seen it more than once. I still laugh every time. I've shown this, I don't know, maybe 6 people now off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. All of them laugh out loud during this movie. It is the perfect date movie.
I know.
Because it's funny for both. Like, it's got enough, it's the dark humor if you're a person like me. It's sweet enough for, like, if your partner is maybe not as fucked up in the head like I am. I have nothing but great things to say. Just blind buy it, stream it. It was an Australian film not too long ago. I want to say it came out
It's recent, yeah.
Yeah, it came out in like 2015. Who would have thought I was going to come here and recommend a romantic comedy?
I never thought you were going to recommend a romantic comedy to me in my life. And you did, and I liked it. I honestly, I back up everything you're saying. I feel the same way about all of it.
Apparently, I had read something about it. I had downloaded it. It was sitting on a hard drive for years, right? I wanted to watch something one night. I go to this hard drive, and I see The Little Death. I'm thinking it's a horror movie. I kid you not. So I put it on like, all right, let me watch a dumb horror movie. And it starts off, and I'm laughing. I'm like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
And I stuck with it. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
It was very funny.
It's
a great little
underseen gem. This is, like I said, this is what I think this segment should be. I want people to check this out. You will not be disappointed.
I've also have a movie that is predominantly based around sex. I think there's some other subtext going on in terms of the story, but there's a lot of sex going on too. And it is a movie called The Untamed. And this is a Spanish language film. And this is what it says on the box. Intoxicating, unforgettable, a sci-fi sexual drama that will blow your mind. One of the most wild films of the year.
Gracias.
This movie's unlike anything I've ever seen. I feel like movies that are new just always seem to fit. The Northman we just talked about, just things just aren't impressing me anymore. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it doesn't seem fresh. It's not moving me. I need something to kind of like spark a little bit inside, like a movie that makes you laugh out of nowhere. Yeah. A movie like this that really pushes the boundaries of like, I don't even know what it pushes the boundaries of, to be honest. This movie is just so out there. I'll try to set it up best I can. On its face, it's a movie about an alien that has come to Earth that you don't really see, but it is housed in a cabin that a weird scientist guy sort of owns, and he's sort of like taking notes on it, and he's trying to study it or whatever. But it just so happens that this alien can either give pain or pleasure. You don't know which one it's going to give, but it can give either one, the best pleasure you've ever had, or possibly hurt you to the point of death. Meanwhile, there are people that are visiting this cabin and spending time with this alien in a very sexual manner, and they're having this life-changing experience, and it's like reinvigorating them and all this kind of stuff, but then it tend to lead a little deadly. And there is a main character who is kind of, fed up with her life. Her husband's awful. She's stressed out. She's got kids. Like, there's just way too much going on for her. And then she discovers this thing that basically, again, like awakens her.
Sí.
The way that those encounters happen at first are not in view, and then they slowly start to show you a little bit more until there's one moment where they kind of show you everything in full view. And it is just so utterly strange, bizarre, yet erotic at the same time. It's such like a weird thing to describe unless you see it, where you're kind of like turned on, but you don't want to be, or you don't know why you are, but it just all works like that. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie Splice, where there's like half woman, half like beast, and she's kind of sexy at the same time, and you're like, this kind of feels weird.
Her name's Adrian Brody.
I don't know. It feels strange. It feels uncomfortable all at once, but it was very compelling to me. I've always really enjoyed it, and I've shown it, like Russ mentioned with his pick, I've shown it to a lot of people, not for the shock value. I think there's a lot more to this movie than just alien has sex with people. It is a movie about sexuality at its core, whether it's homosexuality, heterosexuality. But when you just watch it for the first time, you are just taken aback by, I feel like, the visceral nature of what the visual is. This Blu-ray itself has an hour-long documentary on it where the director goes through explaining how he made the movie. All the visual stuff is all, tapped into. So if you do see this and you're interested to see how they made it or what they did, that's all included as well. I don't want to spoil too much about what or how the alien operates until you actually see it, but just the cover of this poster alone is a woman on like a bed staring at something that she looks terrified of. Like, that's the cover. So, I mean, that's what you're getting yourself into with this movie. So a little bit different than Hands on a Hard Body. Not the feel-good, movie that we all need right now, but maybe this is the sexy movie that we all need right now.
Sí.
Russ, you've seen this. What's your take? Am I explaining this properly?
No, I think you nailed it. Before I had seen it, you had spoken about it, and so I knew the premise a little more. And you were going on. You mentioned it here too about it being not hard to watch. What was your word you're saying?
It's just
intense visually.
It's really
I don't know.
It can be uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Maybe it's because I was prepped for it. I didn't really feel that, but one thing I did feel, and that's what you just touched on. I felt more of a human story in it, especially with the sexuality aspects and all that.
Yeah.
I liked this movie. I thought it was really good. Good pacing, too, from what I remember. I
It
feel
is.
like movies like this tend to go, especially in the modern age, like you were just talking about The Northman being over 2 hours. It doesn't wear out its welcome.
Perfect little movie, and I'm excited to see what this guy does next. I haven't seen or heard about any of his next movies, but this movie was definitely enough to put him on my radar. So that's the Matt pick of the week, The Untamed.